Good afternoon, Crestwood. It is my honor to bring you this Wednesday devotional. This time of year, I hope you're like me, and when you're driving around Lexington, you are just in awe of all the beauty in our world, all of God's majestic creation, the gorgeous colors in the trees and crisp, cool fall temperatures. I absolutely love autumn because it just is such a colorful and bright reminder of what an amazing world we live in and how majestic God's creation truly is. As we've just recently wrapped up our stewardship campaign here at Crestwood, I've been spending a lot of time digging into scripture and reading about giving and generosity and doing a lot of praying and thinking about it. And then it just so happens that this past week, our Thursday morning Bible study started Genesis 4. And at the very beginning of Genesis 4, the two brothers, Cain and Abel, bring their offerings to God. And it says that Cain, the farmer, brought God an offering of some of the fruits from his field, just some of the fruits. Abel, on the other hand, who was a shepherd, brought God the firstlings of his flock, the fat portion, the very best he could bring. And it says that God received Abel's offering, but he disdained Cain's, and he disregarded it. And Cain took this very personally and got very offended, and he went away very angry. And of course, as we know, when the story goes on, he ends up murdering his brother because of this. But I think the point that we can talk about here this week is, what does God expect of us? The Bible tells us in many places that God expects us to bring the first fruits of our labor. Everything we have belongs to God, because everything we do is for God's glory. So whatever we put our time, energy, effort, and money into, all of that is meant to be done for the glory of God. So we should be offering God the first fruits of our labor. So then I started thinking about it. And I thought, okay, just like you, I am very busy. I work, I have 2 children that I homeschool, I have a house to take care of. I'm also a full-time seminary student with multiple classes and textbooks that I have to read every day and papers to write every week. I'm busy. And when I get all these things done and I can, kind of at the end of the day, I find myself going, okay, now I've accomplished all these things on my to-do list, and now I can carve out some private time for myself to sit and be still and talk to God and pray. Well, then I started thinking, is that really offering God the first fruits of my effort? What would it look like if instead of waiting till I checked off all these other things on my to-do list, what if I offered God the first of my time? What if before I started tackling all those things on my list, I made time for God first and started my day with quiet time and prayer? How could that change me? How could that change my relationship with God? So this week, I encourage you to think about this and just sort of do a little bit of self-reflecting. How are you offering the first of all of what's best of you to God? Are you truly putting God first in your time, the way you budget your time, in the way you spend your energy, in the way you spend your money? Because God asks that we give first to God, not what's left over. So when we think about it that way, it's really quite a challenge to us, because we tend to, get everything else done first and then make space for God, or wait till all the bills are paid and then what's left we'll offer to the church. What would it look like if we really put God first at the beginning of our day, at the beginning of our budgeting every month, at the beginning of our energy level, before we spent all of our energy doing other things? What if we went to God first? What if we served first? What if we prayed first? What if we gave first? So this week, I challenge you to try and find one area of your life where maybe you haven't put God first, and try and reverse that and see what that does for you and for your relationship with God. Until I see you in church, may God bless and watch over you. And it's been my joy to bring you this devotional today.